Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets had a budget of $100 million. The film had made $879 million. It was not successful or as successful as Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, but it achieved a very high amount of money, and it was praised more for a more darker atmosphere and story. Now, the film is the first sequel after Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and it was the first of many sequels. It was directed by Chris Columbus again, David Heyman produced again, Steve Kloves done the screenplay again, and it's basically from the 1998 J.K. Rowling book of Harry Potter and the Chamber of Secrets. The film starred Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson. Kenneth Branagh had come in. He was portraying Gilderoy Lockhart. John Cleese featured again. Robbie Coltrane, Warwick Davis, Richard Griffiths. Jason Isaac had come in, and he was portraying Draco Malfoy's father, Lucius Malfoy. Alan Rickman, Fiona Shaw, Maggie Smith, Julie Walters. And yes, sadly, it was Richard Harris's last Harry Potter film. He played Professor Albus Dumbledore twice, and sadly he died. But believe me, he left a lasting impression and amazement with Harry Potter. He truly was Professor Dumbledore, in my opinion. John Williams come in again to do the music. The cinematographer was Roger Pratt, edited by Peter Honus. Now, the production companies are the same as the first film: Warner Brothers Pictures, Heyday Films, 1492 Pictures. Again, distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures. Now, the premiere was released on the 3rd of November 2002, again at Odeon Leicester Square, and basically the worldwide release was the 15th of November 2002. The film was increased on running time, and it was 161 minutes. And basically the plot of the story is, obviously, Harry has he meets Dobby. He's locked up in his room with, like a jail sort of thing, the way it's done. Quite funny, to be fair. And the Weasleys come and rescue him, and you see the flying car. And we see Borgin and Burkes, only a brief moment or two. We learn about Lucius Malfoy, and we see him place something in Ginny Weasley's cauldron, or little thing she's holding. And as the story progresses, students are being attacked, petrified, including Moody Headless Nick, including Hermione Granger, to be fair. And as the story progresses, we realise it's a basilisk, and we realise that this item in future films is a Horcrux. And Harry has to save Ginny Weasley's life. We find out that Gilderoy Lockhart is a fake, and he tries to do obliterate, and it affects him more. And it's what he's been doing to other wizards, so he can get loads of fame, and it backfires. Harry destroys the book, destroys a form of Lord Voldemort, destroys a Horcrux with a basilisk tooth. He saves Ginny. We see Fawkes the Phoenix. There's so much. Absolutely amazing. Absolutely amazing. And we even get the whole, which I think is one of the best moments, Dobby is free. Obviously there's also Aragog, the big spider. But to be fair, now Kenneth Branagh, who was cast as Gilderoy Lockhart, is obviously a celebrity author and new Defence Against the Dark Arts teacher at Hogwarts. Hugh Grant was said to have been the first choice for the role, but due to reported scheduling, it conflicted and he was unable to play the character. So, as of the 25th of October 2001, Kenneth Branagh was selected as Hugh Grant's replacement. And obviously shortly after the film was released, that's when Richard Harris had died. Now, Chris Columbus did return to direct. However, Frank Oz had said in an interview with the AV Club that he was asked to direct the film, but he had no interest in it. And this would also be Chris Columbus's last Harry Potter film he would direct. Which is a shame, because I was really enjoying the way he was going with the films. He really did try and stick with the books and put as much in as possible. Now, as for the set design, Stuart Craig had returned to put some new elements in, which were not seen in the first film. So, for example, we got to see the Burrow, which is the Weasleys' home. We got to see Dumbledore's office, so we got to see the Sorting Hat, the Sword of Gryffindor, Dumbledore's desk, Dumbledore's office, Fawkes the Phoenix. We've seen a brief few moments of Borgin and Burkes. There is an edited scene where they cut it out, and we did see a lot more, which is a shame. And of course, we got to see the Chamber of Secrets. But the flying car that was Mr. Weasley's was actually created from a 1962 Ford Angular. So that's quite impressive. Now, as for the filming, they really had to do a fair bit, to be fair. Obviously, there was still Leviston Film Studios. They still used the King Cross railway station for platform 9 3/4. They used Gloucestershire Cathedral still for the setting of Hogwarts School. They still used Surrey for number 4 Privet Drive. And they even used the Isle of Man and several places around Great Britain for different filming bits of location. So it's quite impressive. And now, one of the most amazing things is the University of Cambridge linguistics professor Francis Nolan was actually hired to construct the Parseltongue language for the scenes where Harry Potter was talking to snakes. So yeah, it's quite amazing. And Chris Columbus, he actually opted for handheld cameras for Chamber of Secrets to allow more freedom in the movement. Now obviously the music again is absolutely beautiful, and obviously John Williams had just completed scoring Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones, and he'd just finished Minority Report, and he was beginning work on Catch Me If You Can, and because of this, William Ross was actually brought in to arrange the themes from the Philosopher's Stone into the new material that John Williams was composing whenever he had the chance. And if you ever want the soundtrack, it was actually released on 12th of November 2002. I would think you could use a number of sites or shops to compose of that and reserve. Or to be fair, you could actually just go on YouTube. You'll probably get most of it on there. Now, as for home media, the film was originally released in the UK, the US and Canada on the 11th of April 2003, again on VHS, video. Also a 2-disc special edition DVD digipack, which included extended and deleted scenes and interviews. On the 11th of December 2007, the film's Blu-ray version was released. Again, an ultimate edition of the film was released on the 8th of December 2009. It featured new footage, TV spots, an extended version of the film with deleted scenes which were edited in, a feature-length special creating the world of Harry Potter Part 2, characters. The film's extended version has a running time of about 174 minutes, that's an extra 12 minutes you were getting, so that was much better. And it basically previously had shown certain television airings. Now as for the box office, now this is really interesting. The film had broke multiple records upon its opening, so in the US and Canada, the film opened to $88.4 million at the opening weekend of around 3,682 cinemas. It was the third largest opening at the time, behind Spider-Man and Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone. It was number 1 at the box office for 2 consecutive weekends in the United Kingdom. The film broke all opening records that were previously held by Philosopher's Stone. It made £18.9 million during its opening, including previews of around £10.9 million. It went on to make £54.8 million in the UK at the time, and it was the 5th biggest tally of all time in the region. The film basically made a total of $879 million worldwide, and it was made the 5th highest grossing film ever at the time. It was 2002's 2nd highest grossing film worldwide. It come behind The Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers. It was the 4th highest grossing film in the US and Canada that year. And basically it was $262 million behind Spider-Man, Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, and Star Wars Episode 2 Attack of the Clones. However, it was that year's #1 film at the non-American box office, and it made around $617 million compared to Lord of the Rings: The Two Towers, which made an estimated $584.5 million. Now, as for critical responses, Roger Ebert had basically called The Chamber of Secrets a phenomenal film, and he did give it 4 out of 4 stars, and he did praise the set designs. Entertainment Weekly had basically commended the film for being much better and darker than its predecessor, and they said that Harry Potter does very well indeed in deepening the dark emotions. It was frightening atmosphere for audiences, and that's how it should be. And Harry Potter, as they said, was supposed to get darker. Richard Ropier had praised the directing and the film's faithfulness to the book, and he basically said Chris Columbus, the director, does a real wonderful job of being faithful to the story, but also taking it into a cinematic era. Variety had also said the film was excessively long, but they praised it for being darker and more dramatic. They said it was confident, and it gave a real flair, something different from the books. And the New York Times, A.O. Scott, had basically said, instead of feeling stirred, you may feel battered and worn down, but not in the end. Too terribly disappointed. So there was bad reviews as well as good. Peter Travers from the Rolling Stone, he condemned the film for being overlong and too faithful to the book. Once again, Chris Columbus takes a hat-in-hand approach to J.K. Rowling that stiffs creativity, and he allows the film to drag on for nearly 3 hours. It's just, I don't get why they really moan at the end of the day. I would rather have a film personally stick to the books. You know, I've seen too many books where they've been fantastic. Then you watch the film and it's completely different, and you go, if you stuck with the book, we'd have had a better story. Me personally, I don't care how long the film is. If you stick to the book and you put enough in, do you know what? Let it be 10 hours long, 24 hours long. If it sticks to the book, then I'm going to be more happy, you know? So, I never tend to agree with everything that people put up for reviews. You know, personally, in my own opinion, I enjoyed it. You know, and I mean, if you're having a day off school and you was ill, you could put that on, and you'd practically almost kill 3 hours. So, you know, it was good. Good family film. Yeah, it was darker. That was what's fun about it. And I'm glad they stuck to the book. And it was such a fitting tribute, I felt, to Richard Harris as well. Now, as for the accolades, the film was nominated for 3 BAFTA awards, and they were for Best Production Design, Sound, and Achievement in Visual Effects. The film was nominated for 2 awards at the inaugural Visual Effects Society, and it was in the categories of Best Character Animation in a Live Action Motion Picture, Best Composition or Composing or Composting, I think it is, something anyway, in a motion picture. The film was also nominated for 6 Saturn Awards in 2003 and 2004 for its DVD release. So yeah, it's a very special film. It's amazing. It's out of this world. I loved it. I really did. And what people don't realise is this is the film that first showed us Horcruxes, that was a big part in future stories. So we're actually seeing something we didn't know about at first. So all these films had something in them that was building up to the ultimate. So, well worth it. Well worth it. If you haven't seen the film, or it's been a few years since you have seen it, it's really worth watching. you know, and it was a great success, and I thought it was absolutely beautiful, epic and fantastic, and I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe if you can. It helps the channel grow in its content, and we will be doing the next film, Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Thank you for watching. Bye for now. Bye.